Good morning. Welcome everyone to the Prestige Planner webinar series. My name is Patty Guglielmino and I am the Vice President of CVB and Hotel Partnerships at Prestige Global Meeting Source. Today we welcome Langham Huntington, Pasadena. Opened in 1914, this iconic landmark hotel has been an exclusive retreat for celebrities, world leaders, and royalty throughout the decades. Enjoy 23 acres of lush greenery, classic architecture, landscaping, and private cottages, quaint gardens. I experienced this property firsthand for our partner conference, and I have to say it was one of the most enjoyable events I've been to. The staff, the food, the service, everything top notch. With Prestige Global Meeting Source as your partner in planning and executing, we can provide end-to-end solutions, including contract management, air ticketing, registration management, gifting options, cruising, staffing, conference management support, and destination expertise through our CVB and DMC partners. We handle everything so your team can focus on developing strategies and plan a more efficient environment. Let us save you time and money. A few housekeeping notes. This webinar will be recorded. Please be sure to mute your computer through the presentation. We will be using the chat window for questions and the answers for which will be provided at the end of the presentation. Please welcome Rachel and Nicholas from Langham Huntington, Pasadena.
Well, thank you very much, Patty. We appreciate that. We're very much happy to have you all on this call for this presentation. Rachel and I have been meeting many of the Prestige associates and have been attending many of the fun events, including the one at the hotel. So without further ado, we're going to tag team. Rachel's going to translate for me. No, I'm kidding. Rachel's going to kick off this presentation, and we're going to alternate and finish with a series of quiz questions at the end, testing your knowledge about the area and the hotel. So Rachel, take it away.
Good morning, everybody. So my name is Rachel Heisleveen. I'm a senior sales manager at the hotel. I cover the West Coast and the Mountain West and have been with the property for a few years now. Was able to participate in the partner conference at our hotel, which was amazing. We love our friends at Prestige. So I'm going to dive in. I know Patty shared a little bit about the historic nature of our hotel. I think that is a common thread through our presentation, as well as the location. Pasadena itself is really special, so I'm going to talk a little bit about what makes it unique. Nicholas, you can go ahead forward. Perfect. So some of the exciting things that we've had happening over the years. Even though we are a historic property, we're always looking to improve. And 2019, we did a lot of soft goods renovations. We updated our outlets. And then, fortunately or unfortunately, when COVID hit and the hotel was very quiet, we took advantage of the quiet and we pushed forward some of the renovations that we had on schedule, including our largest outdoor venue, our Horseshoe Garden. We expanded that. We put in a lot of landscaping. We'll look at some pictures of that a little bit later. We did a historic restoration of our picture bridge. We'll also look at some pictures of that. We put beautiful Spanish white marble all through the public spaces. So the property really got a facelift during that time. And we have a couple more renovations that are on deck that we'll talk about. So in terms of our destination, we are located in LA County, but Pasadena is quite a bit different. As I'm sure most of you are familiar with, LA is very lively. There's a lot of hustle and bustle to it. It really has that city energy. And Pasadena is the spot in LA where you come into the city and all of a sudden you just take a really deep breath. It is so peaceful and so serene and luxurious. It is absolutely beautiful. The city itself was founded at the turn of the century when there were a lot of wealthy East Coast and Midwest families that wanted to come and, winter in California. And they found Pasadena, and it was just so green and so beautiful and so peaceful. And that was the start of the city. And that was the story of how our hotel came to be, because we were that spot for them to come to. So you definitely feel that infused through the whole city. We do have really easy access, though, to the amenities of LA. And I would say that's what's very unique, is that if you want to get to downtown LA, we're about 10 miles. So 10 miles from Dodger Stadium, Staples Center. In terms of accessing the property, we have a great benefit in that the closest airport is Burbank. So if any of you have experienced Burbank, it is quite a treat. It has actually really great airlift for a regional airport. And if anybody has any questions or wants information, we can share some of those destinations. But when you land in Burbank, it's so easy to get your bag. And then it's about 15, 20 minutes to our hotel. So you're coming into a major metropolitan city and getting to this peaceful, luxurious resort in, under an hour at the very, very most. Of course, you can fly into LAX, and that transfer is about 25 miles. But we love Burbank. It's our favorite. Go ahead, Nicholas. And then in terms of some of those amenities, so like I said, nearby LA amenities that our groups really love to take advantage of. They love to head to Dodger Stadium. It's just, I feel like it's our #1 most popular offsite into LA destination. You can have private events there. You can just get a box for, different events. The Rose Bowl is about 5 or 10 minutes from the hotel. Also really, really popular. Obviously Pasadena, the city of roses. Santa Anita Racetrack is about 15, 20 minutes from the hotel. We do have our closest golf course is about 20, 25 minutes. It's Angeles National. So these are kind of all within close proximity of us. But then when you look into our little bubble in Pasadena, we have really a lot to experience just within 3 to 5 miles, I would say. Downtown Pasadena, Old Town Pasadena has shopping and restaurants. It actually has more restaurants per capita than New York City. So if you have foodies, if you have people that are really interested in engaging with the culinary scene, Pasadena is a place where a lot of LA chefs like to start their pop-ups, and they like to see how things kind of flow before they move to other areas. And then obviously our most famous venue, okay,
And I can take it.
the Rose Bowl.
I can talk about it.
Okay,
so
perfect.
Rose Bowl is only like 5-10 minutes from the hotel at the most, very close. There's also another golf course right in the back of the Rose Bowl, which is a public course, which is very, very close, less than 5 miles away from the hotel. Rose Bowl is an interesting venue. Most large groups staying with us for more than for 3 nights or more likes to do an event outside the hotel. So we're going to present 3 venues that are like very convenient and can work a lot with groups, from 10 people to few thousand people. Ultimately, we don't have few thousand people at the hotel, but obviously a lot of large space that can be done. You can do event on the main lawn. They also have like some indoor space from the changing rooms to the museum. So a lot of options right there. Then we have the Santa Anita racetracks. Ultimately, events as well, a lot of different options, from 7,000 people in the middle to about like 400 people in their chandelier room, and other space, including a speakeasy for like 20 people. There's like an old-fashioned ticket area that you can use as well. So, you can do like a lot of theme events there. So very flexible as well and very close to the hotel. Last but not least, the closest venue to us, less than 2 miles, is the Huntington Library. The Huntington Library is a massive botanic garden. One of the greatest things, they represent 6 different continents. And here is a picture of the Japanese garden, which you can actually rent for a full event. So if you have like, 300 people or even less, you can do an event on the Japanese garden and rent the whole area. It's quite amazing. So just options really near the hotel. Sorry. Moving on to our space, it's Southern California. So one of the challenges that we face is we have a little bit of a lack of rain. With that being said, we have a lot of outdoor space. We have about 25,000 square feet of indoor space and 25,000 square feet of outdoor space. That represent our Japanese garden, or massive horseshoe garden, and a courtyard as well as some smaller area. So just going to describe that in a little bit with further pictures. I'm going to talk a little bit about the product. So in a nutshell, 379 rooms at the hotel, including 36 suites and 8 private cottages. So the style varies a little bit from the main building to the cottages, and you will see that in a few seconds. This is one of our classic bedroom. And, we really embrace the origin of Langham. Langham is a Hong Kong-based company, but the roots come from the Langham, London. So everything is really British-oriented. And we try to keep that spirit with the hotel, along with the history of the hotel. So that's why you have the valet in the room, in every room, just a remembrance of our British heritage and attention to service. Then one of our sample suite, the Huntington suite, that's the majority of the suites that we have at the hotel, along with many other type, but those are in the main building, over 800 square feet, with a living room area, bedroom area, and a separate shower, bathroom area as well. Then, of course, presidential suites. We have the Tournament of Roses. Pasadena is famous for the Tournament of Roses. I'm sure many of you have heard of the Rose Bowl and, football, college football taking place on January 1st every year. And, of course, the parade that is taking place downtown. So ultimately, we have a presidential suite that is in remembrance of that event, the Tournament of Roses presidential suite, set on 2 floors. You can see both sides of the property, and it's just stunning. We also have 8 private cottages. There's different type of bedroom in it. Some have like 2 bedrooms, some have like more, have like 6 bedrooms. We also have one that has another presidential suite. So the type and the decor and the setup varies depending on the cottages. They are all within walking distance from the main building. You don't have to drive or have a long walk to go to each one of them. This is an example of one of the cottage that we have. As you can see, the style is a little bit, it's more traditional, but represent, embrace the flair of the area of Pasadena. And Rachel, you want to talk about the space?
Yes, so as Nicholas mentioned, we have 25,000 square feet of outdoor space as well as indoor space. Something that's very unique about our space is that most of it actually sits all on one level, and it's centered around our courtyard, which is a beautiful interior garden space. So our main ballrooms sit on corners around this space, offering a lot of privacy. This is a picture of our Huntington ballroom. It's our largest, 11,220 square feet. It's divisible into 3 sections. It has 6 breakouts that are adjacent to it and a really large 4,500 square foot foyer. So group, depending on the size, could take over the ballroom, take over the foyer, take over those breakouts, and really never overlap with any of the other groups that are in-house. This is our second largest space. It's our Viennese ballroom. It is one of the 2 historic ballrooms. It's a little over 4,000 square feet. It has a office adjacent to it, and then just extending off of it is our Viennese terrace. Also unique to our space is each of these ballrooms have corresponding outdoor space. So you come to Southern California, you don't have to worry about weather very much. You just want to enjoy the sunshine. You're always going to be able to have meals and breaks outside when you secure space with us. And then moving on to, this is our smallest ballroom. It's 2,600 square feet, also historic to the property. You can see the really ornate decorations. And this has 3 breakouts that are adjacent to it. And the outdoor space options for this one would be either the courtyard or the Japanese garden. We are in the process also of expanding our Japanese garden. So this is a really lovely picture of what it looks like before, and we'll be excited in a few months when we can share what it looks like after.
And I will talk a little bit more about the Horseshoe Garden, which is the one that we renovated during the pandemic. We made it flatter, we built the stairs in front, so this is an accurate picture. It's an overall of 15,000 square feet of outdoor space, which can be very flexible. We built in electrics under the grass, so make it a little bit easier on setup for AV, for sound, and just a stunning view from the hotel, and also from the view from the hotel here. You can see we are not surrounded by any tall building, despite the fact that we are only 9 miles from downtown Los Angeles. The view is not obstructed. We're right in the valley. I want to point out that, we have the main garden here, but we also have 2 sides that are very large. The picture doesn't give it justice right now, but it allows, for a group of like 200-ish, you can have an area for welcome reception, dinner, and maybe after dinner drinks, everything on the same garden. So if you see a proposal from us suggesting reception and dinner on the Horseshoe Garden, know that there is separate spaces, and we can split that up a little bit. Now, this is a better view from at night with a little bit of of lighting setup, and you can see the sides that are expanding. Again, there's a little bit more, but there's only so much the camera can take. This is, an event that we've been hosting, just so you have an idea of, what it looks like setting up, for event. And Southern California, yes, sometimes we could have some inclement weather. If you're looking at December, January, February, those odd days could happen. And we may talk about tenting, but tenting doesn't have to be scary. It doesn't have to be that, that festival tent that is like ugly and you cannot see anything. It can be something elegant and precious, just like this, where you can still see the skies, still see on the scenery and not be obstructed and actually really enjoy the outdoor space. So if we talk about tenting, it's operated by an outside company. Do not be scared. It does not have to be scary and it can be quite lovely. Then, Rachel, you want to talk about the pool? Or am I talking about the pool? Sorry, I am. Okay, my apologies. The pool area, which is at the center of the hotel. So this is our, our actual current pool. There is the picture bridge is going over it. It used to be an Olympic-sized pool, bigger, but we had to cut it short a little bit at the end because, back in the day, some kids, that would have never been me, decided to jump from the bridge into the pool. So you can only imagine the liability. So way back when they decided to shorten the pool just to avoid, some type of injuries that would go on. This is a pool that ultimately is becoming our event pool with the addition of the new resort pool. And we can actually host event there with, the proper setup. And what a better group than you guys to talk about it, because that's where we were in about a couple of years ago. This is actually the Prestige event that we hosted in April of 2021. So some of you may remember, depending on the level of alcohol that you have taken into your body, hopefully you still have some glimpse of it. It was a lot of fun. We were able to do a nice setup. The weather was very pleasant. And even though it was in April, we'll still all obviously be able to enjoy the outdoor. The great thing about this area is that in the back, we have already a built-in bar, the hideaway bar, which would come obviously with the setup for an event. So you don't necessarily need to bring a lot of additional bars and everything. We have that already built in. And, if you also do a full buyout and take the restaurant, there could be like some outdoor seating. We can have this is our terrace restaurant. We can have the outdoor seating as well right there. Now, Rachel, up to you now.
Yes. So jumping into some resort amenities, obviously we are an urban resort. We want to make sure that our guests, when they arrive on property, they have a lot to take advantage of. These are images of our Schwan Spa. Schwan is the signature spa of the Langham Hospitality Group. So we have 24 Langham hotels all over the world, and every single one that you go to will have a Schwan Spa. It's based on traditional Chinese medicine. So they essentially evaluate your the natural elements in your body and see what you're out of, and they put you in balance. So it's very customized. It's a very unique spa experience for guests. We also have a number of dining outlets on property. This is the Royce wood-fired steakhouse. It has, you can see the bottom right picture. That's one of our wine rooms. We have a white wine and a red wine room in there. They seat 16 and 24 people respectively. So when you have a group and there's like a VIP dinner, or they want to have some kind of a pre-planning dinner, it's a perfect option to have in the steakhouse. We also have our lobby lounge and afternoon tea. This is another Langham signature. It's very famous. It's famous in Pasadena because it's been happening in Pasadena at our hotel for decades. And then it was very fortuitous that it's also a Langham signature from our hotel in London. So it's a really interesting infusion of a British tea with a California flair. And then this is our wonderful entryway.
Last but not least, our upcoming resort pool. Rachel?
Yes, so very excited. Construction is well underway on our resort pool. Those of you who have been to the property might recall that on the 23 acres, so you might not have gotten to every inch, but on the far west side, we had quite a few tennis courts, probably more than we needed. So we have converted 2 of those really large tennis courts into this beautiful picture. It's our resort pool. It's going to be opening in the spring of 2024. The great thing for groups is that by opening this pool, this is going to be the central pool for the hotel, which means that our other pool, which will be the lap pool, will be used for event space. So exactly as we had it for for your conference, that will become a very regular occurrence for our large groups coming to property.
And that concludes our presentation. Now we are switching to a little quiz. So let's see if you have drinking enough coffee and pay attention to this presentation, and maybe some have extra knowledge about the Langham in Pasadena. I will ask questions and you can put your answers in the chatter, and Rachel will give you about 10 seconds to give an answer. So that doesn't give you enough time to Google the answer, which is, that would defeat the idea. And Rachel would read the answers. So let's get started. So, iconic early days. Who founded the hotel? Rachel, you're controlling.
That is a really good guess, Sheila. The answer is actually Henry Huntington. You guys may know him as the railroad tycoon. So he actually built the Pacific Railway that came out to California, and he built our hotel.
And what was the hotel used during World War II?
Anybody? The hotel was rented by the U.S. Army, and it was the regional headquarters for the 35th Division. So we were shut down as a hotel and used as an Army base somewhat.
All right, let's continue on to community and recreation. What famous actress can be seen playing badminton on the photo on the upper left?
And apologies if I'm missing anything. I'm trying to toggle between the answers to make sure I know my stuff and the chat. That is Jean Harlow. She was staying with us and decided to take on a friendly match in the 1930s.
I remember that day. Okay. What Pasadena tradition did the hotel take part in for several years in the 1960s and 1970s, as seen in the lower right corner?
Parade.
And see, there's something going on here. We'll talk about it.
It was the Rose Parade. We used to have a float back in the day, as you can see from that picture, and now we are just the host hotel, but we do host the Grand Marshal. He stays in our Tournament Roses suite. Yeah, nice job, Karen, and Maddie, and Alicia, and Alex. Nice. Wait, hold on. There's a whole bunch coming in. Good job, everybody.
What distinction did the hotel swimming pool once boasted? Can refer to the guy jumping from the picture bridge, which we refine on. Go ahead, Rich.
I love that, Alex. Filled with champagne. That would be amazing.
Oh, yeah. I like that.
We were the first Olympic-sized swimming pool, and this is actually a picture. I have to get this person's name, but he's a famous Olympic diver from back in the day, and it's a picture that's in our hotel, which of course they shortened it because people were doing stuff like that.
When was the property closed due to earthquake standards?
No guesses. This was in 1985. It was closed. The whole hotel, except for the Viennese and the Georgian. Nice job, Megan. Very close. Except for the Viennese and the Georgian, were completely demolished and rebuilt. So those ballrooms are original to the property, but everything else has been reconstructed.
We just answered that question, that second question, so we'll go on.
Oh, just kidding.
All right. What is the legendary story between the ballroom stained glass windows? That's one of our favorite stories. Right, we only have 3 minutes left.
Okay. So the Georgian ballroom, when When I love these answers. When the US Army came in and they were doing meetings, they actually wanted to darken the ballroom because they were obviously working on some top secret information. So they installed a false ceiling, and it covered that beautiful arched ceiling that you see, as well as the stained glass windows. And it was completely forgotten about for years and years. And then in the late 1980s, a gentleman was working on the ceiling, on scaffolding, working on the ceiling, and he accidentally punched a hole through. He saw the glimmer of the gold glass coming through. And so they opened up the ceiling and revealed the stained glass windows, which were then restored and put back up.
Oops, sorry, went too fast. How does the ballroom get its name? We're talking about the Viennese ballroom. Go ahead, we have 2 minutes left.
Sure. Viennese ballroom is named for Vienna, Austria at the time. This was in the 1930s. Yeah, Vienna, for sure. The hotel manager, Stephen Royce, was in Vienna. He purchased these from the same atelier as the Mad King of Bavaria used. He brought these home, then the Depression hit, and he felt like it was too extravagant to have them up in the hotel. So they hid them away, same thing for decades, and then eventually they were restored.
What is the significance of the picture bridge? Go ahead, Rich.
Yep. So this is America's only covered picture bridge, and it's actually one of only 2 in the world. The other one is in Switzerland.
How much would you estimate it cost to the hotel to commission the 41 paintings that adorn the picture's gables? We're talking about those here.
It was $10 per picture, which was a pretty hefty amount back when they were produced.
Are the paintings on the bridge original? What about the bridge itself?
And these paintings are actually replicas, just due to weathering.
And we've redone the picture bridge during during COVID.
Yep.
All right, fun stuff now. Name some famous guests you think might have stayed in the hotel. We're talking about all the film classic artists and all. Oh, that we should see a lot of answers for.
Definitely Jeff Canna. Famous people. So Bill Clinton, Teddy Roosevelt, Gerald Ford, Jean Harlow, Dalai Lama, Albert Einstein. So many people. Matthew Modine. I know some people saw him during the conference. So
The Rock also was here. What film or TV show might you recognize the hotel from? Those are easy.
Parent Trap. Yep. It's a really famous one. We were also featured in Westworld. We were in Saving Mr. Banks, The Assassination of Gianni Versace, American Crime Story. Let's see, Modern Family, The Bachelorette. The wedding for Ashley and JP was actually hosted at the hotel. So we're very popular. Murder, She Wrote. Yep. Very popular filming spot.
A lot of them. Science and technology. What is the significance of our neighbors, the California Institute of Technology?
So Caltech is obviously a very prestigious university, as well as the home of JPL for NASA, the Jet Propulsion Laboratory. This is where the Caltech actually has 37 Nobel laureates that have 38 Nobel Prizes.
Do you know where NASA Mars Exploration Program and Mars rover mission were conducted? If you've seen the movie The Martian, you should know that. Go ahead, Rich.
With us at JPL.
That's right. What famous scientist taught at Caltech and live in a house just a few blocks away from the hotel?
I'm going to jump in here for time. So it was Albert Einstein, very famous, biked around Pasadena. There's lots of great, got some Einstein there.
We're going to tag team after that. Yeah. Do you know there is a Big Bang Theory way in Pasadena and why? Go ahead, Rich, just answer.
Yeah, so obviously it's a really popular show. If you've seen it, Pasadena is a big highlight, and so the city really embraces that.
What is the gamble house is famous for?
That's the picture in the middle, if you're curious, of which one it is, and it is from Back to the Future. I think that.
Last but not least, what are some fun facts about Pasadena?
And we will end on this because I think it's just honestly one of the funniest things I've ever heard. 6 species of non-indigenous parrots reside in Pasadena. No one knows why. The most popular theory is that they're part of a stock set free from a local pet store that burned down in 1959. So they're a Pasadena institution.
And that concludes our presentation. Thank you very much, Sheldon. Back to you.
Let's see. We did have a question, so I'm going to jump in. Sheila, the new pool will be open in spring of 2024.
Any other questions? Thank you for such a great overview, guys. Really wonderful. And as I said, it was a great experience being at your property.
Thank you very much for your time. We really appreciate it. And thank you for the partnership.
Thank you.
Have a good day,
Thanks,
everybody.
guys.
Have a good day.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye. Bye.